Hello, Sean. Hello, Sean. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm on a new computer, so I'm figuring out the Zoom settings. Everything's a
Okay.
little bit different.
Well, I am walking through downtown Boston, getting back to my office. So I'm on audio only for another 2 minutes or so.
Fair enough.
And apologies for that.
No worries. We'll give it another minute in case Dan or William show up.
Okay. That's right.
I was bummed to hear that you're going to be departing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll still stay in, but I'll be on the open space recreation plan committee for a while, however long that process goes. And I might very well apply to come back in a year. I just I'm a bit overcommitted, and I spend my whole day on Zoom calls and in front of my computer. And not to be too selfish about it, but that's just not what I have bandwidth to do more of. So
I get that.
So I've been very overscheduled, and I'm worried about dropping some balls. But beyond that, it's just I can't put my energies into more of that.
Yeah,
So
I totally
I'm hoping that we might be a little more in person in a year. So, and then I might very gladly step back in if people have me.
Yeah, I hear you on the Zoom. I was hoping that we were going back to being in person soon, and it sounds like that's a little extended. So
yeah. So
well, I guess I'll call us to order. It's 7:32.
Okay.
There seems to be no public participation because there's no one else here.
All right.
And so we can get right to approving the minutes. I move to approve the minutes that I sent out on February 13th.
Yeah, seconded.
Sean?
Aye.
I'm a yes, that's approved. Ay. So first thing on the agenda, first real topic on the agenda was just continuing to review engagement with media postings. And actually maybe, well, I'll start with some Facebook stuff and then we can talk about the email list and sort of how that can move with you not around. So for Facebook, I've started doing more of the posts out to all 4 of the community groups, and I've actually been getting some decent engagement on several of them. The rain barrel post got a lot of comments and just, people talking amongst themselves about rain barrels and whether they bring them inside in the winter or not. And, people are excited to buy a rain barrel from our sale, even if they weren't Wakefield residents, and was that allowed?
Cool.
So I think the reach is certainly greater, as we would expect now that we've realized those are in fact different groups.
And it's still the same vibe though. The 2 of them you have to share to as an individual rather than as
that's
the
right.
ESC page. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So I make the post as the ESC page. I share the post as the ESC page to the first 2 groups. Then I flip over to my personal page and then share the post out to the other 2 groups. And that seems to be working fine. And I've so far had no complaints either about the volume of posting or the redundancy of, if there are people who are in multiple of those groups. So I'll continue to do that. I actually heard from someone in at my kid's school. Oh, I've seen some of your posts about textiles and this and that. I'm so glad to have learned that. So I'm taking that as an N of 1 validation that the more posting is good. If what we're aiming for is getting the word out there.
I think that's the right way to read it.
And And I reached out to Tom for some more energy savings type of posts and like things in the municipal gas and light realm, because we have certainly been pretty heavy on the waste reduction side, just because there's so many things to post about recycling and how to get rid of your textiles and all of that. So he gave me some things I can share. And I think certainly as we approach Earth Day, we can continue to, you know, frame posts about, hey, for Earth Day, do a thing. Hey, for Earth Day, we're trying as a community to get this many people, you know, signed up for compost or participating in green choice or things like that. So, you know, I'll continue to source things, and please, as open space, you know, if you have surveys or open forum meetings or any of that stuff, do send them my way.
Okay, yeah, that next meeting, really the first meeting since the orientation meeting is this Wednesday, so there'll be some things out of that, and I'll definitely, I mean, definitely we can advertise the process a bit more, but I think you know, the parts around updating the inventory and all that, those are exciting and good communications and community education. So
good, yeah. Yeah, so that's Facebook. Instagram, so I sent an email right after our prior meeting introducing William to Jen McDonald, and I didn't see any replies, but maybe I just wasn't CC'd on them. So I need to follow up with William and see if that actually got off the ground. My guess is that it didn't, that it might have fallen through a crack and not gone anywhere. So I'll reach out to William and ask. I keep meaning to follow up and I keep forgetting. So that's on me.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be great if we can go to Instagram, and if William
Are you in a stairwell or an elevator? Because all of a sudden you sound like a robot malfunction.
High school students can be the engine for. I was in an elevator, but that doesn't rule out that I might also be a malfunctioning robot. So, yeah, sorry.
Okay, nope, now you're back.
Is the connection better now? Okay, I apologize.
Just rewind 12 seconds and say that last bit again.
Sorry, it'd be wonderful. I was just saying it'd be wonderful if William and some of the other high school volunteers can make Instagram happen.
Yes.
So
I agree.
And I'm almost back in my office. I will be able to switch to video on after a certain hour. I can't get back into my building, and so I have to go into a neighboring building and go up in the elevator, go across a bridge, go down another elevator.
Oh
so
my goodness.
So my journey's almost over, but it's just the, you know, our version of security here at Tufts.
Yes.
So I will be video on in about 60 seconds.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't we just pause and let you do a jump so that you're not in the middle of the sentence.
All right. Let's see. Click on that. All right. Do you have now?
There you are.
Now you have the audio and visual experience. So
yes, indeed. Yeah, so next on the media for engagement is the email list. I want to check on that, like, what do we need to do with you moving off the committee?
So in the short to medium term, I do not mind staying involved with that. So if you just want to send me things and ask me to forward them out, I can do that. I'll continue to, if I do that, I can continue to send to the list. The other thing I can do, I don't want to put more on you. I mean, I can make you a moderator of the list, which allows you to send to the list.
Sure.
So that,
yeah, I was going to suggest that might be a good idea.
I mean, if it's just as easy, I don't want to put anything else on you because you're doing all the things. But
if it's just as easy for you to send something to the list as to send it to me and ask me to send it to the list, then maybe you'd want to leave out the unreliable middleman. But
yeah, I think that would be fine.
it's not that big of a deal. I actually was in a situation once where I had set up a list for a group, and then for a decade afterwards, I was still managing the list in a country that I don't live in anymore. And it's not that big of a deal, you know. It was a few minutes here and there. So, but at some point we can switch that. I can also make you a co-owner of the list. Dan was able to add people on his own, so you could. So even
especially if Dan's going to roll off of the committee also by the end of the year, or sometime in the next 6 months ish, might be worth me being a co-owner.
What would be ideal is if there's somebody else who joins and if there's an equitable distribution of tasks, then maybe it doesn't all have to be on you. But I will stay on. I will remain the owner. So that, and I am more than happy. You can call me or text me and just say, do the thing. And also, maybe once I roll off on this, I can forward you my cell phone number. If there's ever anything that's time sensitive, send it over email, but just send a text and say, this one really should go out this afternoon. It's for a meeting tomorrow, like that kind of thing. Worst case scenario, I can't respond, but I'll never be unhappy that you asked me to to try. So here, so I just sent you the cell phone number. So again, email's probably best, and usually email I can respond to quickly, but if I'm not responding, just text me and ask me to.
Perfect. That sounds good.
So yeah, and I will, if you don't mind my fiddling, while we're chatting here, I'll go onto the system and add you as a moderator now, so that you can, as well as a co-owner, so that you can also send the things on your own.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good.
And again, ideally, I think, so when we set it up, I had, Melissa had shared access to the email account for me. And I think I only did that once. Like I really haven't been going into the ESC email account to send things from there. The only benefit of that is similar to what you're doing on the Facebook groups. Then it's not being filtered through your name. But, but in terms of meeting our responsibilities to archive materials, if you just CC the ESC email,
then that goes into that archive box. That makes sense.
All right, so I'm in the list here, and I'll just
I actually attended a webinar last week put on by some Massachusetts, like it was aimed at folks who do the communications for municipalities and their organizations and stuff. So it was all about Facebook and other social media posts and, you know, the need to keep archives and not delete stuff, even if there's, you know, negative commentary, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think we learned anything spectacularly new that was different from what Jen McDonald had already sort of given the brief on. But it's good to sort of hear reinforcement on that.
Yeah, it's a weird space to be in.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for all the things that I feel like, okay, yes, I've had to do things to, when we do research with human subjects and stuff like that, and all the things where I have to dot the I's and cross the T's, I feel like this space is different.
Surprisingly,
it has a lot of its own rules. So I'm adding you as an owner.
Okay.
And then I'll also add you as a moderator.
Sounds good. And I'll make sure that I can get into those things, and I'll email you if I have any challenges with it.
Okay. So just added you as an owner, and then also moderator. So you should have some emails in your inbox telling you that you now have these.
That's good.
And let me know if you have any trouble as an owner. So moderator just means you can email from your email address. Owner means that you should be able to get into the e-list interface. So if the
add new
email
people.
and if the email doesn't have instructions that help you figure that out, let me know and I'll do what we need to do to get you there. But I think it must, because I don't think I sent anything separate to Dan.
Okay.
And
You can figure it out. I'm sure I can.
yeah.
And I only need to add people if they ask me to add them, but the link, you've sent me at some point the link where people can add themselves directly. So I know I have that in the archives of things we've posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they can.
For generally just asking folks to join, they can also do it self-serve that way.
Yeah, we can send that out. I mean, I think you could send that out every few months through the social media groups, just for people who prefer to have emails. But I mean, the place where you'll want to add folks is when we're signing up people at community events.
Yeah.
Or if they're coming
if they
into
just
the
write their
fold
email on a clipboard.
Yeah. And that's where we'll want to keep doing that. But again, if you have any trouble, that is easy for me. Just don't worry. If you send me 2 or 3 email addresses, I'll add it anytime. Like I said, my burn time is after 10 years, I start to get bored of it.
Sounds good.
And by then I might be
still doing this in 10 years
in the town fold. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else on engagement? Email, Facebook, Instagram?
No. I'm coming off this, so I'm not going to champion Twitter anymore. I feel like Twitter, I'm less down on Twitter than others just because professionally, Twitter has been an easy place to navigate. And I thought I was all good with it. And then I thought maybe the bottom's not falling out. And then 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden I was thinking, nope, the bottom's falling out of it again. So like, I don't think it's as much as I want to be optimistic that it's not dead for a while. It's not necessarily the place we have to expend limited energies. I'll stop there because we're being recorded.
Fair enough. I'm also going next week after, sometime the next couple of weeks, I'm going to a conference put on by Mass Recycle, by the organization that Gretchen Ferry is president of. So I'll keep my ear out for whether there are other communication methods or engagement methods that other folks are using. I'm curious if, if someone says, like, oh, we do I hope no one's doing a paper newsletter. We do a paper newsletter and it gets the best readership of all of it. Who knows? That maybe. Well, I'll try to keep an ear out for whether anyone has any good suggestions or approaches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Is that something you're doing through this, or was that something you were doing for other reasons? Okay.
Yeah. Melissa and I thought it would be a good place to learn some more waste reduction stuff. So.
Oh, great. Yeah, we've got Gretchen visiting us here in a few sometime in the next few weeks. I don't remember what day we got her on the schedule, but I know that it's laid down.
Cool.
April 13th. So
nice. Oh,
a month from today.
Yeah, she's doing the welcome at the start of the conference. I doubt I will be there by then because it's in Marlborough, so it's a bit of a hike from here.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll get there early enough for that, given that we have one car and that car needs to bring the kid to school before it goes anywhere else. So
no, those things don't often work at Marlborough at 8 or 9 a.m. is not.
All right. Well,
I have this thing that I need to do once a year out in Grafton, and that's like starts at 9 a.m. and it's like that's my whole week shot just from having to be in Grafton by 9 a.m. one day.
Yeah. It's almost like a stay overnight the night before if you have to really be there that early. Well, so the next area we wanted to talk about is what topic we want for our next educational event. don't suppose in your getting ready to leave, you talked with any of your colleagues about wanting to present any material?
I have not, but I'm still very, so, I think we could, yes, I think we could easily do something. So I think I mentioned, I have a dog and pony on kind of some climate impacts on food. I actually was just reviewing some of that for another thing. So I'm very happy to do that myself. I'm very happy to connect with, I have a colleague who works on some related issues, but has also been looking at social issues and impacts in food supply chain. So very translatable stuff. So I've got, so that's something we can do. And then if there's anything in general around food, the students here are wonderful. And I connect with that. So I didn't ask anything in particular, because the last time we discussed this, I was leaning towards maybe I should do a climate and food dog and pony.
I think that'd be great. I think people would be interested in that. Do you want to just look at the calendar and pick a date?
Yeah, we could. I mean, the only, and I'm very happy to do it, and it's pretty accessible material. It's just not at all local material, right? I mean, we'll talk about a few local things. So I'll talk about maple syrup and stuff like that, where there are really imminent local concerns, but it's more of a global scale. So it's not going to be Wakefield specific. But yeah, no, I'm happy to.
I think that's fine. I don't think the topics have to be, I mean, everyone in Wakefield eats. So that part of it is very,
everyone.
Almost everyone, probably almost everyone. And so that's right, like that makes it, I think, plenty local.
Yeah. So what day of the week was it, the last one? It was a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So were you thinking Wednesdays are the day to do it, or?
Well, I mean, it wound up conflicting with the master plan workshop, but I believe they've finished those.
The OSRP things I think are hitting Wednesdays, but they're not going to be every week by any means. So that this Wednesday is one of them. And I don't think we've been given a schedule for the future meetings.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say maybe see if when you get a schedule, but yeah, I think either Wednesdays or Thursdays are good, because I believe, especially if we wanted to record it, because certainly Mondays and Tuesdays are booked up with school committee and town council. So I think those make Mondays and Tuesdays tough.
If you want to aim for April 26th or May 3rd, and I'll hold that time, and then we can reach out to Sherry Dalton and see if there's anything conflicting on the town calendar.
April 26th, May 3rd. Well, those both look open in my book. So I will take a look at those 2 dates.
Okay. May 3rd might be better for me. So, and what time did we do the last one? 7?
I think we did 7, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can check the town calendar and the library calendar.
Okay.
And see, and then WCAT, and if that's open, that'd be great. And then yeah, I'd say up to you if you either want to do it just you, or if you want to bring your colleague in and sort of split the time.
Okay.
But I think generally 45 minutes ish of content and then some Q&A is about the right length.
Okay. What did we call the last thing? We called that in what just did we have a kind of a name for the series of events that we came up with for that, or?
I think the name was just about recycling. I think we called it Recycling Myths Busted. But it might have been like ESC Presents. We should start to brand these. That would be good. We should call, now that it is a series, we should make a name for this thing.
All right. I just sent a note to Sherry and CC on behalf of both of us, just asking her about May 3rd. So
Cool.
And if there are other big conflicts on the town calendar, then we don't even have to bother with the library.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, what I seem to remember is that often things don't all show up on the town calendar more than a month in advance.
Yeah. That's okay, but then we can be the thing on the town calendar.
That's true, yes. As long as there isn't a, regularly scheduled first Wednesday is the thus and such, then we should be fine. Cool, well, that would be great. And then we can start sort of describing it and advertising and all of that.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Looking forward to it.
That'd be very cool.
All right. And then did we have other topics?
The only other topic, which I think doesn't apply to you very much, is I was going to see if anyone with graphic design expertise wanted to help with so for the school recycling and composting activities, we want to do some better signage for around the barrels. And I can do it, but it will look like I went into PowerPoint and copied and pasted some clip art, which is, maybe fine, but I was going to see if anyone else had design, better design chops and wanted to lend a hand.
But it's directly attached to the high school?
Not for the high school, for the middle school.
Middle school, okay.
Yeah.
But could we reach out to the high school and see if there's a design instructor there? Because some of those students might have skills.
Oh, that's a good idea. I was thinking just the students on the committee.
Even be like the 1-2 punch of skills and talent, and then I think often with those design classes, they're often interested in real life clients that they can connect students with. So, and if it's something like this, that could be a win-win. So again, I don't know if the easiest way in is to ask William to connect or to ask our school rep, but
yeah. That's a great idea.
I know there have been several things at work where I connected with colleagues who were teaching like advertising and design classes. And
right.
We need a logo for this event or for this project. And
perfect.
We offer in that situation, we often would just offer like a $50 prize and have it as a little competition, but we get amazing quality things. But I don't think there needs to be money on the table to see if somebody wants to do it.
Yeah, because I think it'd be pretty simple. I think we just, currently it's a very simple poster that shows a couple of example things that can go in the bins, but I think there needs to be a bit more clarity on, don't put in your salad plastic container if it's still half full of salad, and the graphic for that, requires some bit of thought. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll find a way into a design type teacher at the high school. Brilliant. Cool. I think that's it. We probably shouldn't do the when is our next meeting? Is this a good day? If you're not going to be in it and William and Dan aren't here. So I'll ping the two of them for the date of the next meeting.
I don't know when my last day is, so I'll keep attending until then, but yeah, when is the next ESC meeting? It's
13th of April.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's my last day on.
Okay.
All right.
We would presumably meet, well, I guess we could meet either before or after that, but I generally find that after is good for the sake of knowing what all is going on there if we need to communicate about it. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I will send a note out and we can pick a day.
All right, great. Well, I will see you at least on one more meeting. Cool. I hope that I see you plenty more after that around town.
Sounds good. But thank you so much for all of your help in this. It's really been great having you on this committee. Likewise, Tiana, it's great to work with you on this, and sorry that
can't commit to sticking with it, but just
All good. I totally
like I
get
said,
it.
combination of too many things on the plate, and I don't want to do a bad job of the things I'm committed to, so it means fewer commitments.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Have
Well,
a good
have a
evening.
great
Talk to you
evening.
later. Thank
See
you.
ya.
Bye.